afternoon, everyone. You are welcome to Economic Online class. We are discussing 7th chapter Indian Economy. In the last class, we completed about natural resources and its types and economic infrastructure. Right? Today we have to concentrate social infrastructure and contributions of Indian economic thinkers. So let us see the social infrastructure. What does it mean? It refers to those structures which are improving the quality of manpower and contribute indirectly towards the growth of an economy. These structures are outside the system of production and distribution. This is not including in the production and distribution, outside of the production and distribution. The development of these social structures help in increasing the efficiency of productivity of manpower. So that the aim of the social infrastructure is increasing the productivity of the manpower. So that the development of the social structure is very important here. For example, schools, colleges, hospitals and other civic amenities. These are the social infrastructure. These are very essential to the society, right? It is a fact that one of the reason for the low productivity of Indian workers in the lack of development of social infrastructure. The status of development in the social infrastructure in India are discussed below about some headings. The first heading is education. Education in India. So importing education on an organized basis date back to the days of Gurukul in India. Okay, in the olden days, we are experiencing Gurukul education. Okay, the Gurukul education only on those days the people experienced in India. Since then, the Indian education system has flourished and developed with growing needs of the economy. The Ministry of Human Resource Development in India formulates education policy in India and also undertakes education programs. MHRD. MHRD means Ministry and Human Resource Development in India. Education system in India. This is also one of the social infrastructure, no? So, the imparting education on an organized basis date back to the days of Gurukul in India. In olden days, the Gurukul education only experienced in India. Since then, the Indian education system has flourished and developed with growing needs of the economy. So, the education system developed and flourished in India. They started one ministry, that is MHRD, Ministry of Human Resource and Development. So, they formulated education policy in India and also undertakes educational programs in India. So, through the MHRD, they formulate many policies about education and Indian higher education. Education system in India. What about education system in India? They formulated. Education in India until 1976 was the responsibility of the state government. Okay, until the 1976, they are controlled and responsibility of the state government. It was then brought under concurrent list, both the center and state. So the center is represented by the Ministry of Human Resource Development decides the India's education budget. So that the education system in India consists of preliminary 6 levels. They are given the 6 level: nursery class, primary class, secondary level, higher secondary level, graduation, post graduation. These are the 6 preliminary levels. So, education institutions in India. What about education institutions in India? Same. Education in India follows the 10+2+ pattern. For higher education, there are various state-run as well as private institutions and universities providing a variety of courses and subjects. The accreditation of the universities is decided under the University Grant Commission UGC. Okay. So the accreditation given by the UGC to the universities. The education department consists of various schools, colleges and universities imparting education on fair means for all sections of the society. So that the education department consists of various schools, colleges and universities. For what? Imparting education for all. The budget share of education sector is around 3% of GDP. Of this, largest proportion goes for schools education. Okay, 3% of GDP. This largest proportion goes to school education only. However, per people expenditure is the lowest for school students. Okay, per student expenditure is very low for school students. The next is health. Health also one of the social infrastructure. Health in India. Health in India is a state government responsibility. The Central Council of Health and Welfare formulates the various healthcare projects and health department reform policies. So the Central Council of Health and Welfare formulates, the Welfare Ministry only formulating various healthcare projects and health department reforms policies. They make policies and they can reform already exist policies. The administration of health industry in India as well as the technical needs of the health sector are the responsibility of the Ministry of Health and Welfare. They only concerning about the health and welfare. Okay, who? The Ministry of Health and Welfare Department only concerning all the technical needs of the health sector. The healthcare in India has many forms. These are the Ayurvedic medicine, Unani or Galenic herbal care, homeopathy, allopathy, yoga and many more. So they practicing these types of medicines. Each different healthcare form has its own treatment system and practice patterns. So each and every medicinal practice having its own system and practice their system. The medical participating in India needs a proper licensing from the Ministry of Health. Whatever it is, they should get proper licensing from the Ministry of Health. All medical systems are now under one ministry, vice versa, Ayush. So the Ayush only concerning all medical systems. Okay, they only controlling all medical system, which is Ayush. Healthcare services in India. The healthcare services in India are mainly the responsibility of the Ministry of Health. We know. Yes, state-wise health status is better in Kerala as compared to other states. Compared to other developed countries, India's health status is not satisfactory. So when we are comparing with other country, our health condition, our health status is very poor, which is not giving satisfactory. So India's health status is poor compared to Sri Lanka. When we are comparing with Sri Lanka, India's health condition or health status is very poor. So this is the healthcare services in India and health status in India. So we completed the social infrastructure. Okay, let us go through the contribution of Indian economic thinkers. So economic thinkers, there were many economic thinkers came and they gave some economic ideas, definitions, everything. Okay, let me see one by one. The first thinker is Thiruvalluvar. The economic ideas of Thiruvalluvar are found in his immoral work, which means Thirukkural. Okay, he gave the Thirukkural a book of ethics. It sayings about ethics. even though scholars differ widely over the estimation of the period of Thiruvalluvar. So about Thiruvalluvar, most of the scholars gave different ideas about Thiruvalluvar. It is generally believed that he belongs to the Sangam age in Tamil. Okay, Sangam age in Tamil Nadu around 3rd century AD. So that Thiruvalluvar work is marked by pragmatic idealism. So that among the economic thinkers on those days, Thiruvalluvar wrote his book. That book is saying about ethics. Okay. So through the ethical book, he marked by a pragmatic idealism. Okay. A large part of Valluvar's economic ideas are found in the second part of Tirukkural, which is Porutpal. So Valluvar's economic ideas coming under this Porutpal part, the second part of Porutpal. It deals with the wealth. Thiruvalluvar is a fundamental thinker. Okay, Thiruvalluvar is a fundamental thinker. He believes that rains are the basic support of life. So he concentrating the rain. It only supporting the life. Since rain provides food, it forms the basis for stable economic life. According to his idea, rain provides food, it forms the basis for stable economic life. Agriculture, which is the most fundamental economic activity, depends on rain. It is rain that both ruins and aid the ruined to rise. This is his idea given in Porutpal. Factors of production. He wrote about factors of production in this Tirukkural book. So Thiruvalluvar has made many passing references about the factors of production, vice versa. What are they? Land, labor, capital, organization, time, technology, etc. He says about unfailing harvest, competent body of men, group of men, whose health knows no diminution, are the components of an economy. This is Kural 61 says. So he said about production, okay, factors of production in his book. What about agriculture said by Thiruvalluvar? According to Thiruvalluvar, agriculture is the most fundamental economic activity. They are the active pain of the world. For on their prosperity revolves prosperity of other sectors of the economy. The plugman alone, he says, live as the freemen of the soil. The rest are mere slaves that follow on their toil. Kural 1032. So Valluvar believes that agriculture is superior to all other occupation. He gave importance to agriculture department. Okay. So which is a fundamental economic activity. Public finance. What about public finance said by Thiruvalluvar? Thiruvalluvar has elaborately explained public finance under the heading public revenue, financial administration and public expenditure. These are the heading he spoke. He has stated these: creation of revenue, collection of revenue, management of revenue, public expenditure. So first one is public expenditure. So public expenditure. Valluvar has recommended a balanced budget. It is not a great misfortune for a state if its revenue are limited, provided the expenditure is kept within bounds. This is said by Thiruvalluvar about public expenditure. It is not a great misfortune. What? For a state, if its revenue are limited, it is not a great misfortune, provided the expenditure is kept within their bounds. He has given certain guidelines for the budgetary policies. For the budgetary also he gave some ideas. Budget for a surplus if possible, balances the budget at other times, but never budget for a deficit. So he concentrating about budget. Okay, So Valluvar advocates the following main items of public expenditure: defense, public works, and social services. So external assistance. Valluvar said about external assistance, which means defense, right? Defense, public works, and social services coming under this topic. Valluvar was against seeking eternal assistance. According to Kural number 739, countries taking external assistance are not to be considered as countries at all. In other words, he advocated a self-sufficient economy, self-fulfilled economy, which means self-sufficiency in a country. So that Valluvar was against seeking eternal assistance. We do not seeking the eternal assistance. So the external assistance are not to be considered as a countries at all. So that self-sufficiency of the economy is very, very important. Poverty and begging. He said about poverty and begging. See here, Valluvar considered freedom from hunger as one of the fundamental freedoms that should be enjoyed by every citizen. According to Valluvar's word, poverty is the root cause of all other evils which would lead to everlasting suffering. So the poverty is very, very important here. According to Valluvar's word, poverty is the root cause for all the evils of the human beings. It only giving everlasting suffering to the people. It is to be noted that the number of people living below poverty line, begging, sleeping on the roadside, and rag picking in India has been increasing nowadays. Okay. In wealth topic, Valluvar has regarded wealth as only a means, not an end. He said, acquire a great fortune by noble and honorable means. He condemned hoarding and described hoarded wealth as profitless richness. So he hesitated the hoarding and describing about hoarding as a hoarding wealth as profitless richness. To him, industry is real wealth and labor is the greatest resource. According to Valluvar, industry is the real wealth and labor is the greatest resources. At last, Thiruvallur gave some ideas about welfare state. Thiruvallur is for a welfare state. In welfare state, there will be no poverty, illiteracy, disease and industry. According to Thiruvallur. The important elements of a welfare state are perfect health of the people without disease, abundant wealth, and good crop. Good crop means agriculture. Good crop pattern, prosperity and happiness, and full security for the people. They should be given to the people in the society. Then only the society said about welfare state. Okay, students, today we completed the social infrastructure. What are the social infrastructures? Education, health, and health services in India, everything completed. And also we started the contribution of Indian economic thinkers. Thiruvallur's economic ideas we completed. Okay, go through the topic. The two topics only you have to concentrate. Social infrastructure, okay, and then Thiruvallur's economic ideas. You have to write test and send to me.